Hey everyone, this is our video on the Tradiflow tool we have. Uh, it's a really powerful tool, and we have been making consistently solid and profitable plays with it. So let's dive right into it and see what it does, how does it work, and how to best use it. So Tradiflow, in summary, is a tool that looks at repeat options flow in the live options flow tool. And so the reason we developed this tool was initially when I was learning how to analyze live options flow, I would just look at big orders and I would think, since this is a big order and someone is, let's assume, buying an out of the money call, I would just assume that since there was one big order, I should just go in, buy the same call, and I would profit off of that. And that was sometimes true, but most of the time that did not work. And after some time, I realized that these huge singular positions were often used for hedging purposes, not for directional purposes. So if you are saying, like, if you are just starting to analyze live options flow, or even if you're an experienced person, if you see like these 20-30 million dollar order coming in, and let's say that's a slightly out of the money call, chances are it's probably a hedge. It could be a directional bet as well, but most of the time I've seen those huge orders to be hedges. So then how do you find the best flow from thousands of trades that you're seeing in the live option flow tool? And that's where this idea of looking at repeat contracts or repeat flow came in. So the idea is, if you're seeing one big order that's just from one person, that is not as meaningful as seeing the same contract where the sum of premiums is very large, but that same contract is now being traded by multiple people. So that's what we mean by repeat flow. So we still want to see large premiums, we still want to see a lot of money being put into a contract, but we want to see that money being put into that contract by multiple people, which is why we want to look at repeat flow. And the idea is, if multiple people are making the same bet, then the probability that that bet is going to succeed increases. So that's a very basic summary of what the tool is and what is it trying to find. And so on the top, we have the top signals. These are based on how much repeat flow did we see. So for this Google put that we actually saw, I think 2 or 3 days ago, and there were 28 repeat orders for a put for strike 107, expiration 11th November, and the total premiums were about $4.19 million. So a lot of money was being spent on this put. Then we have GTX, IWM, and others. So these are all the contracts that have not yet worked out, and so we keep them on the top. And then if you want to look at like all the contracts that are out there, then if you just go down a little bit, you'll see the table with all signals. And so we have some filters for you if you want to filter down these Tradiflow signals. And the minimum number of repeat orders we look at or we filter for is 5, but 5 doesn't always work well. So there is this concept on the more repeat flow that you're seeing, the higher the probability of success for that particular signal. And for that, we have these filters on 10 plus orders, which would mean repeat flow with let's say 10 different people trading the same contracts, and then we have 25 plus as well. And then we have other signals you can filter by your watch list and things like that. One thing that I'd like to focus on here is this 10 plus and 25 plus orders. So let's just filter for the 25 plus orders. We haven't seen many of these in the last I believe like 2 or 3 months, and that's not consistent with a bull market. So anytime you have a bull market, you will be seeing these very consistently. Like you'll see at least 2 or 3 of these every single week. But since we have been in somewhat of a bear market, we have not been seeing many large repeat flows. And that actually tells you that people are just not that confident in making huge bets. Maybe one person is, but in aggregate, not many people are confident in making large bets. But you can see that this ITM means this contract went in the money. And you can see that all the contracts except the Google one that's there on the top actually have gone in the money. And so that just shows you how powerful Tradiflow is, because in the 8 contracts we have gotten, 7 of them have already gone in the money. Now, if you dive slightly deeper into these contracts, you'll see that some of them went in the money after they expired. And that can sometimes be tricky, and people ask like, Tradiflow isn't that accurate if a contract is going in the money after it has expired. But that's not true. And so when you are following these Tradiflow signals, if they are slightly shorter term, we would highly encourage you to add a couple of more weeks into your contracts, because historically what we have seen is as long as people are putting in a lot of money and as long as there is repeat flow, sometimes these whales or these smart people roll their contracts further if they're not working right away. So they'll add a couple of more weeks right away, or maybe in a day or two, or maybe in a week, but you won't be able to then follow those whales exactly, so you might miss out on the move. So it's just like a good practice to add 2 to 4 weeks extra in all of your contracts. And so that's it. That's like a very basic explanation of what Tradiflow is. If you're just seeing 5 orders, we'll still surface that in the tool, but it's not very meaningful. So just know, like, it's just a trade idea, and the best trade ideas are the ones with a large number of orders. So the spot is the stock price. We have the contract price, number of orders, volume, premiums, open interest, difference, which is the difference between the stock price and the strike price, implied volatility. And then if you want to slightly go deeper into these signals, then you can just click on this plus button and it will open up this Tradiflow dashboard. And this gives you some details about the signal. It shows you what the buyer versus sell flow is. So this positive means bought positions for that contract. So this green actually means people have been buying put. So this, to be honest, this should have been red because we are looking at a put contract. So anytime we are seeing positive premiums, that just means more put buying here. So let's assume it as a red. But anytime you are seeing these negative values, that means these contracts are being sold. So what happened here? So initially we saw about $5 million in premiums into these contracts, but they didn't work right away. And maybe these whales or these smart people thought maybe this is not going to work out, and they exited with about $1 million. So what's left is about 3.7 or 3.8 billion dollars, and then they've been adding very slowly again, but still we are at about 4.15. But you can see like some whales or some people exited their positions, but most of them are still in their positions. So that just gives you confidence that if you're following flow and if you're following these smart people, then they are still in the play. They have not exited yet. And this contract is obviously at down 12%, but we'll see how this pans out. And then you have all the flow for the last couple of days for this particular contract. So that's it about Tradiflow. It's a simple tool, but we have been using it for about 2 years now. It's really powerful and it's really accurate. So it has been very consistent, especially with these 10 plus and 25 plus orders. It has been very consistent across different market regimes. So I'd highly recommend spending some time with it. If you want to dive deeper into the performance of all of these different filters, then what you can do is go to the performance tab here and then look at these charts. So we have like, what's the accuracy of Tradiflow premium filters, what's the accuracy of Tradiflow order filters. So you can see for 25 plus orders we are maintaining an accuracy of 100%, and these are for contracts that have expired. And then we have some distribution and things like that. We'll have a separate video on the performance tab, but if you just want to like get some idea on what filters work, what doesn't work, these two charts are pretty meaningful. And so that's it for the video. I hope you guys learned something about the tool. I hope you guys learned the basics of why we had to create this tool. I think that's the most important part of Tradiflow, just understanding why we had to create it. And yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys around.